what has fundamentally changed about the CFO role over those 2 decades?
So much has changed. Oh my goodness. I think about even during my time at Sage when I'd be in the market meeting with accountants, like I think about the beginning of that chapter and then 12 years later and how much change there was. And now that level of change is actually happening in a much more compressed time frame. So change is happening incredibly rapidly. I think what's changed the most is probably the expectation of the CFO. And I think they used to be the data steward of the numbers, close the books, make sure that compliance is being adhered to, provide reports. And I almost think about them as, kind of a function that stayed in their lane. So they were kind of on the side of the business, and now they're in the business. I think today's CFO is kind of a strategic co-pilot to the CEO. They're often a technology decision maker. They're a talent leader. And they're someone who has the ability to translate uncertainty into a plan. So they're really a partner to the business versus a functional area that's on the side. When I think about what hasn't changed, I think about the fundamentals of trust. So the board still needs to believe in the numbers, and the CEO still needs to believe in the forecast. And all the technology in the world doesn't replace the credibility that CFOs build through integrity, consistency, accuracy. And I think that even in a world where we're heavily powered by AI, that's not going to change.
Agree. And as the CFO role has changed, like you said, in how now they're no longer that back office person, like they're really at the forefront of the business. Do you feel like the people and the system supporting the CFO has kept up with those changes?
Probably not fast enough. So I think with all the evolution of the CFO, even over the last decade, a lot of the systems and talent development models, if you will, are still catching up to where the role was maybe even 5 years ago, let alone where it is today. You look at really sophisticated finance teams that are running strategic analysis in spreadsheets. It's like, I remember like a decade ago, people are like, oh, Excel is going to go away. It's used every day by accountants. And so they're doing this sophisticated analysis in spreadsheets. And the same spreadsheets that the company was maybe a tenth the size they are today. So we've got ERP systems that were implemented years ago that have so much technical debt that they're slowing down the business rather than enabling it. And we've got finance talent that's been hired, and they're, in some cases they're coming out of school, they're forward thinking, and they're using systems that are archaic. We actually have seen a recent study where accounting students or the next generation of accountants will actually turn down a job because the systems that are being used inside the business or inside the firm, and that's a big shift.
Wow. They're like, we don't want to deal with like your old school stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.